I looked for a complete guide and didn't find one, so I made this. You're welcome. Warp Fuel is what makes the Forbidden Workshop go. You get this as Clan Skryre through sacking, Warlock Engineer Agent actions, not limited to steel technology but wound and so forth. You'll also get it as a result of winning battles. Ikit has a skill to let him get Warp Fuel 50% of the time after winning a battle, which means the regular chance is less. Fight lots of battles, including small pathetic ones, and you'll do well. Long periods without battles will make it harder. Doom rockets are affectionately viewed as tactical nuclear weapons. A lot of the values you will hear from my lips were altered at some point. Doom rockets take 4 warp fuel and 5 food in current patch to make. The food is for the laborers involved, I suppose. Point is, no matter how many you have, you can only use 1 per battle, not per turn, per battle. Make them count. I'll put up the stupid-looking damage stats as well. There's a cooldown period when building Doom rockets, so you just plain can't rely on them. They're either for emergencies or just for taking advantage of insane blobs, and supporting armies that are not your full weapons team's death stacks. For upgrades, they're all 2 warp fuel and 5 food, at least for the Doom rockets. Warp Power Plant gives a Tzeentch-like 5% bonus chance that when winds of magic change in any place you have an army, it'll tend toward more winds, not less. Low winds is very annoying for a faction that is built upon casting. Yes, you heard me right. Under Empire Silos increases the absolute maximum of rockets in reserve from 5 to 8. This is for when you're established. Toxic Waste Salvage means there's 100% chance of being refunded warp fuel, as in 1, whenever you use a Doom rocket. Kill Experiment Field increases your own side's casualty replenishment after the battle by 10%. This can matter. Refined Warpstone is one I prefer to get early because it's a 25% chance of getting 2 Doom rockets when you build, not 1. When you're established, even the slightest RNG will mean you'll want those silos. Chemical Warp Heads creates a damage over time after a Doom rocket strike, which can finish off stuff that's been heavily mauled or is simply really, really tough. The workshop is upgraded from tier 1 to 4 through accomplishing what are basically missions as part of a quest line, very Malachi-like. Initially you need to kill 1,000 enemies, use 1 Doom rocket, you can combine the 2, and build the Warpstone Tractor Beam, the fairly expensive landmark in Skaven Blight that can't be built at all unless the city is at least tier 3. The second requires building 1 construction cavern, aka the Plague Claw building, and have at least 1 Warlock Engineer and 1 Warlock Master at rank 15 each. The Warlock Master is likely to take the longest, but you just have to push. The final tier requires the Warpstone Reactor building and getting Ikit to rank 25. This is the tier 5 energy building that increases building income by 50% province-wide. I'll go over weapons teams. If you're wondering where the sections for Poison Wind Mortars and the Globadiers are, I am not kidding you. Scroll down a little. They're right there. The upgrades are locked with lab level, so initially only level 1 ones, and the upgrades are 3 warp fuel per, and 3, 5, or 7 food depending on tier. I'm saying this now so I can focus on what they do and why it matters, or else you'll have nothing to work with. The Rattling Guns first get the notorious Endless Drum, so their ammo is nigh infinite, though it's more like it'll keep giving back some until it climbs above 80% with a cooldown. The thing is, even without this, in early battles you're going to think the ammo lasts quite a while anyway. Each volley has 18 shots, and it takes a while for that to process. The default reload time is 5 seconds, so the second tier 15% reload time reduction is already extremely close to the cap, and a rank 2 or 3 Warlock Engineer will push even rank 0 ones over the cap, so it'll be 4 seconds reload time. That's to say, this does little for high rank, it does a lot for low rank. It'll make Rattling Guns deadlier in less specialized armies. Claw-crafted bullets puts ammunition plus 10%, which makes Endless Drum work better, and missile strength plus 12%, which can't be bad. At least not for you. Rattling Gunners aren't just about the damage, they're about suppression, so firing more and for longer matters as well. Now, Jezzails. Their first upgrade gains the Hawkish Precision passive. Why does this matter? Because at any range a Jezzail prefers to operate with precious ammo that goes quickly. It'll do 15% more missile strength for free. All it needs is being 70 meters away from the enemy. Manage that and you will be golden. Along these lines, ghillie fursuits gives Jezzails stalk. creating a whole new strategic layer for setting up murderous enfilade fire for your foes. Combining this with other sneaky assets will be rewarding for you. At any rate, it helps them get sniped less cheaply. Finally, Craven rounds as plus 12% range and plus 25% armor-piercing damage, and most of Jezzail damage is armor-piercing. This feeds on itself and makes them deadlier for the sake of being deadly. We like this a lot. For Warpfire Throwers, and this is the third unit type that has minus 50% upkeep for in Ikit's Claw's personal army, Gout Boosters offers a plain vanilla 10% boost to missile strength. Now, the armor piercing done by the flames is far from nothing, but the base damage done is catastrophic because it's 4 shots per volley too. Of course, that's if all 4 shots hit something, and that's for entire enemy units, not individuals, unless you're firing at ethereal heroes, and actually, it's not bad against them. Damage is damage, this isn't a bad thing. Hazmat Fursuits gives them plus 25 armor and plus 25% fire resistance. That means 95 armor and 25% resistance to all sources of damage that include fire, like Scorch, the Ruin spell. This means you can use them as tar pits for flaming attacks. This requires understanding what counts as a flaming attack in your roster and in somebody else's. The third tier grants Concentrated Flame, which Ikit can learn for himself, but that only applies if you keep his rat tail unmounted. No such concerns here. Concentrated Flame extends range a bit, which is good, and grants anti-large damage, which is nuts. After all, the first thing a knight thinks is, gotta charge the Warpfire Throwers, they can't hurt me much unlike the infantry. Change that and it matters. At least it might. For Warp Grinders, Star Metal Talons grants melee attack plus 30 to Warp Grinders. This means base 20 at rank 0 with extremely long attack interval, but quite a lot of armor-piercing melee damage and magical attack get melee attack 50, 250% of the base value. This is one of your sneaky rat schemes for neutralizing the infuriating Belegar ethereal heroes, with the Teethbreaker Rattling Gun ROR being extremely useful in that role as well. The 13 Visions grants the passive Witness Me that grants 40% ward save when under 50% health. They're not unbreakable like they once were like that, but still that's an awful lot of additional tankiness. Their weakness is low overall health and number of entities, not armor, so yeah. Warlock's Poultice gives the Warp Grinders the Expendable trait, which is amazing for Skryre strategies, and Regeneration, which gives them a fighting chance shrugging off chip damage while engaging in their normal tactics. This makes them quite a bit stronger too. For Poisoned Wind Mortars, Warpstone Lung gives a 15% reload time reduction, and their reload is pretty long compared to Rattling Guns, so this is kind of a big deal. Rot Spice number 5, References, provides a chemical additive not approved by the FDA, which makes Pestilent Wind ammo a dot as well as a leadership debuff. Iris of the Chaos Moon adds plus 15% range, and that makes the rich richer in that regard. For Globadiers and Bombardiers, Warp Razors makes their ammunition anti-large. Now, let me get specific. These have an explosive effect, but the actual impact from Globadiers is 4 base and 12 armor-piercing damage. The bonus versus large is 20 per hit. In other words, the total damage is over double what the original damage was, and that new damage is 75% armor-piercing. Now, that bonus versus large won't increase with general increases in per hit strength, but this is why the unit cards said anti-large. They're really not unless they have this ammo. It's absolutely vicious, and will only get more so with Death Globes in terms of short-term lethality. Abomination's Kiss improves missile strength by 15%, and there's nothing much to say about this, it's just good. Mist of Morskrit has 3 effects. Causes fear, armor-piercing damage in melee plus 14, and melee attack plus 25. Original values were melee attack 18 and base 20 AP 6 melee damage. Not that you want them in brawls, but the 48 entities come with 100 armor stock, and giving them that kind of lip-busting ability is quite a lot of insurance. The more upgrades you do, the more the bar at the bottom fills, unlocking goodies like Incendiary Rounds, which imbues flaming attacks and increases missile strength plus 12%. Now, you'll have to decide where this is actually useful. Sniper's Cape grants stock among other benefits, but there's a rare item I've seen that grants the snipe capability. Mixing those has possibilities, yes. As I suspected when I did the main unit video, Doomflares can be boosted to incredible and disgusting heights under Ikit Claw, but it's not just the units. Ones written by characters, as in Warlock Master Lords, matter as well. That's why it's good Ikit can spam those lords and keep them loyal. All upgrades are 3 warp fuel, but increasing amounts of food go with increasing tiers of the workshop required, with one requiring tier 4. Doom Diagnostics has +8 bonus versus infantry and charge bonus +15%. This instantly makes the units deadlier in their intended use. Warp Flares creates passive warp lightning strikes when Doomflare mounted characters are in melee. I have not had much luck doing this well yet. Obsidian Alloy adds +10 melee attack and +12% weapon strength. Not only does this mesh with Doom Diagnostics, but both of the latter apply just as well against Cavalry, which begins to expand the unit's reach. Aerodynamics adds +15% speed and grants Vanguard deployment, and both are massive boons. It's a relatively slow cavalry chariot type unit. Micro-reactors is supposed to trigger Overload as a passive, 44 seconds of hugely boosted wins gained provided the character gets down and dirty in melee on a Doomflare. Bio interfaces, I'll read to you the very specific wording. Scorch Winds of Magic, -3 for all characters. Scorch Upgraded, -4 wins for all characters. Miscast Chance, -15% for characters on Doomflare mounts. For a lot of people, Scorch is not a spell worth using over Warp Lightning due to cost-benefit issues, but this flips the cost-benefit around on a dime, just like on a Doomflare. Decomposing Decoys doesn't do much, it just grants stock to each and every Doomflare riding character in the entire faction. Deploying Skewer Blades grants characters mounted on flares +12 leadership and jacks up leadership aura +6. Apparently going Mad Max is good for the troops' morale. Spiked armor plates. What was I just saying about Mad Max? Anyway, melee defense +10 and war save 12%. That is cracked. Finally, Propeller Knife Blades provides the passive Blade Swirl, which grants +10% missile resistance and armor sundering. That's a lot, folks. That's a lot. Finally, we get into the Doomwheel section, and let's see what secrets this contains. Warpstone Dynamics grants Doomwheel units its very specific +12% speed and +15 charge bonus. My video showed how they plow through normal human infantry amazingly well without such a buff. Now it's better. Momentum is mass and speed, after all. Micro Warp Batteries grants reload time reduction 10% for all Doomwheel units. It's auto-aim, but still good stuff, and there's a ridiculous ammo pool, so why leave ammo unused? Skaven Slave Grease adds +10 melee defense and grants Strider to the units, and that means much less fear-loathing about fighting in the forest with them. Meat Shields adds armor +15 and missile resistance 12%. Wow, that's brutal, guys. Warp Spark Plugs grants a global -10% to the cooldowns for Warp Lightning for your characters. That is nice. Superconductors is for character-mounted Doomwheels, offering weapon strength +12% and bonus versus infantry +10, so that'll get you into mammoth territory, right? Warpstone Alloys offers +15 armor for characters on a Doomwheel, +22% spell resistance, almost Corn levels, and spell resistance is interesting especially since it applies to your own magic. Warp Capacitors enables double shot for 1 extra projectile per shot with a Doomwheel unit. That's a big deal for them. Gyro Cogs enables perfect vigor for all characters on a Doomwheel, so that's like an infinite energy generation machine wheel. That's revolutionary! The final upgrade requiring tier 4 spreads the double shot to character mount Doomwheels, and +14% missile strength besides. I don't want to take too much time on the goodies unlocked through piling up upgrades for non-Doom Rocket sections, but I want to give a mention to Warp Lightning Battery and the War Machine's DIY kit, making it so that virtually anyone can assemble Doomflares and Doomwheels in one less turn. Warlock Masters can skill up to enable the latter, but this is a mutually exclusive type of skill for them. Ikit doesn't have to lock out other skills, but he's Ikit. You want him in the field as much as possible anyway. This expands your strategic options. The battery just makes Warp Lightning easier for one rat to spam, and that is a great and wonderful thing. I'll do separate videos on the special units, referring back to this video and all the available upgrades, because unit-focused videos are my bread and butter. Just keep in mind that the other component of all upgrades is food. Money is irrelevant to the workshop, only warp fuel and food. So you need to be getting a major food surplus and be fighting and winning lots of battles, or in general doing lots of warlock activities to take full advantage. Take care and have fun revolutionizing the world through safe, renewable energy. I am of course being highly sarcastic. There's nothing safe about this.